Okay, so today you guys are going to go to assignment 2.1, two interlacing letters. You're going to find your previous assignment, okay, whichever one it happened to be. I'm going to steal moons. It's actually the hardest one, and give you an idea of what you're going to do. So you're going to download it, and then you're going to open it up in Photoshop. And you can open up Photoshop and then just go to File, Open, find that file. We'll just assume that you can get that opened up. Okay. When you come in, you're just going to have a single layer, and this layer could be locked. If it is, you're going to want to unlock that layer. Okay. And if your layers are not up, you're going to find layers under Window, Layers, or you can just hit F7. Okay. Remember that layers are kind of like transparent paper. So what we're shooting to do here is I want to be able to turn this into a single shape that's by itself, meaning just black and white. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go Layer, New, Layer, New, Layer, and I'm going to put my layer on top. This just is going to help out once I erase. I need to make sure that I'm on my correct layer. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I need to select either the background or I need to select the J. And I need to figure out which one's easier. I'm going to do this by using the Magic Wand tool. And when I click, you can see that it goes into the J. It's a problem. It's not working because it needs to be one or the other. So I got a couple of choices here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to go to Levels. And I'm going to use these sliders in an attempt to try to really bring forth the dark and to make the contrast a lot higher. And so I can just play with different tools here. Just trying to, that's a little bit better. So this is the highlights, this is the midtones, and this is the darks. So as I play with each, I'm just trying to get so that it's a little bit more contrasty. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my darks, darken that down. Not doing too great, to be honest here. But still just trying to get this to work. All right, let's just go with that. So if you can get a higher contrast doing this, that would work out perfectly. Second thing I can do is I can go up to the point sample and I can change the tolerance. Your tolerance would have been 30, which means that it's going to select the closest 30 values to wherever you happen to hit your button. Okay. Rather than 30, I'm going to go down to 10. Okay, and this has definitely helped. What I did helped because it's no longer selecting inside the J. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select an area, and then I'm going to hold down Shift. And I'm going to keep on selecting. I'm doing okay here. You can see I've yet to go inside the J. I'm going to lift up my finger for a second and then hit Shift again. What that means is when I go backwards, I'm not going to have to go backwards as far. This is actually working much better than expected. All right, I got most everything here. One of the things I could do is I could go over to the Magic Wand, hold down, and I could go to the Quick Selection tool. And I'm going to hold open the bracket key, which is below the backspace and the plus key. It's going to make it bigger. And I'm just going to go over, and this is going to clear away. I made a mistake. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to try that again. I was trying to get rid of all these little dots, but you can see that it disappeared for a minute. Yeah, see, I just lost this area here. So I'm going to hit Control Z, and I'm going to call this Close Enough. From here, I'm going to hit B for brush, and I'm going to choose black. I'm going to hit deselect. And deselect was Control D. And I'm just going to go through and I'm trying to get rid of a little bit more of the stuff. I'm going to remove this because I think it might be a little bit difficult. I'm going to try to go up along the edges nice and smooth. And we're going to be using Illustrator later to really clean this up nicely. But right now, and this would be up to Moon, is what do you want this J to ultimately look like? How do you want it to flow? So I'm just kind of cleaning up along the edges a little bit because, my personal choice on that. And try to get rid of some of this stuff. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the magic wand, which is W, but I need to hold down, which gives me the magic wand. I'm going to select the background again, but then I'm going to go to Select, and I'm going to go to Inverse, which is Shift-Control-I. So now everything except for the black is chosen. I'm going to switch here, hit B for brush. Now I have white. Hit deselect. Okay, so let's see what we got there. Again, I'm going to go back through and see, is this what I really want? Does this look good? I can smooth out a little bit. Yes, I understand this is hard to do without pens. I'm going to select the J, and again, I'm going to go up to Select, Inverse, B for brush. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to have the black. Because this is going to finally clean up all of that stuff that was going around. Okay, so now I have the J. And I can use this in a couple of ways now. I can certainly come and clean it up. I could go to Control I, which is just going to invert the colors. Works great. I love it. Maybe I want things to be a little bit smoother. In order to do that, I would take my brush and I'm going to click, hold down Shift, and click again. It'll make a straight line. What it will also do is say I wanted to do a diagonal. And I'm going to switch to red just so you can see how this works. Say I needed to make a straight line diagonal. I would go click, hold down Shift, it's going to connect the 2 points. Control Z to undo. Okay. So at this point, I want to see if there's any way that I can clean this up better, make it look just cleaner. One of the ways I like to do this is I'll go to Filter, Filter Gallery, hit the minus in the corner, and I'm just going to go up to Artistic, and I'm going to see, is there any way that it's going to clean it up? Because it does that sometimes. I'm just going to click through. That cleaned up a little bit. Let's push up the brush detail. No, don't like that. Move it down. Kind of like that. It's got a nice little outline on it now. I'll try a palette knife. There we go. Okay, so that cleaned it up in an unexpected way. But do we like it? I don't know. I'm going to pull up the stroke detail. Let's see if that works. I'm going to keep going. Ooh, almost. Keep going. Come on, I'm trying to get that last little part. I can't get that last little part, and it's driving me nuts. But I'll hit OK. I like what it did. And now I'm going to shrink it down. I will choose my black. I can hit Control plus to zoom in. Move this over. And a little bit smaller. I'm going to do click, shift, click, click, shift, click. There we go. Control minus again. J is looking pretty good. I'm going to go up to filter. And again, I have to go down to this filter gallery, not the one at the top. Hit minus again. I'm going to drop this down this time. Cleaned it. Ooh. And I got to figure out, do I like what that's doing? I'm going to go with almost. Let's go to a 2. Okay, I like that a little bit better. Let's drop the softness, see what it does. So a lot of this is experimentation. Move the stroke size down. What's that do? There we go. That nailed it. Maybe I want a little bit of a white highlight now. Because maybe there's a white highlight right here. So I'm going to switch my values again. So we'll pull that up. A little highlight there. I don't know, a little highlight right here maybe. Okay. Now maybe I want to soften those a little bit. Now again, you can hold over and it will tell you what a tool does. And I'm going to hold down on the 3 dots. I'm going to go to the smudge tool. The smudge tool, I know it's surprising, is going to smudge that a little bit. That looks better there. There we go. So now I have my J. Maybe that's the end of it. And we'll go from here. I want you to play and I want you to get a couple of different versions on this. So now that I have one of them, and I'm going to pull my layers back up again, F7. I want to go File, Save As. If you can, save it to Google Drive. If not, you're going to save it to Documents. I would make a new folder, and we're going to call this Media Arts. And I'm going to put the date. Please put the date. You can't put slashes, by the way. So 11/01/21. And then I'm going to name this assignment 2.1. I want it as a Photoshop document for right now, and I'm going to hit save. All right. So at this point, I'm actually going to get rid of my first layer, and I can just throw that in the trash. I'm going to have you try a couple of other things. You can click on layer 1, and you're going to double click. It's going to bring up layer styles. Layer styles can get really interesting. I personally love drop shadow. And I may need to do a few things to get drop shadow to work. Yep, drop shadow is not going to work at the moment because it's a single layer. So if I want these effects to go away, I'm just going to uncheck. Hit OK. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the background. I'm going to select the inverse. I'm going to Control C, Control V as in Victor. I'm going to paste it onto my second layer. And then I'm going to use B for brush, get a nice big brush. I'm going to get rid of the bottom one, and I made a mistake. I want to go to my layer 1, and I'm going to get rid of the bottom. Okay. Now you can notice if I turn off my top layer, nothing, right? Okay. Now I'm going to go to my top layer and double click, brings up layer styles. Now I'm going to hit drop shadow. There we go. Okay, so pulling this to the side a little bit, I'm going to change the opacity a little bit. Don't like that. Don't like that either. There we go. I'm going to just change the opacity of the shadow. I'm going to move it a little bit. I'm going to change its angle to the other side. Not working, right, because of how I copy and pasted that in. So I'm going to reverse it. There we go.